Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lords of the Night. With me, as always, your Scribe, Lord of Penetration thing. Say hi, Scribe.
I'm not going to dignify that with a response.
I flubbed that one bad. Let's try that again. Your Lord of Punishment. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
That's better, right? And your Lord of Penny. Say hi, Satsu.
At least you got mine right. Hello.
I was trying to save it by making it sound funny. Whoops.
Yeah, well, trying is the operative word there.
And I'm your host, your Lord of Pain, the Ranting Monkey. How is everybody today? Scribbles, how you doing?
I am doing well. I had a very productive morning, and then I had a very lazy afternoon, and then I ate a cheeseburger.
Sounds like a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Satsu, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. Fairly standard day, but interesting.
I heard your day was shortened.
It was. It was very shortened. I woke up at 3 p.m. for some reason, and I'm freaked out. And then I called Squishy and was like, "Bitch, what time is it?" Yeah. So
I hope that's not how you said it.
I mean,
oh, you can't pull my. I have a baby sitting on my lap, and she's trying to pull out my AirPods.
Oh, is it Pumpkin?
It is indeed. Oh, she's not very talkative though, because she just woke up.
Oh,
Little raptor. She was sitting up there yesterday going, "Ah." It's my girl. Hey, baby.
Little baby.
Oh, okay. All right. What's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter? Oh, hi.
she's gonna punch you in the chin, man.
Daddy, I think she wants you back. Her and little Butter running around the house today, and yeah, they're having fun. Yay, Monkey is here. Thank you, Gorebag. Those of you who watch Monkey in the Morning know what that's about. I need my ego fed, and there it was. My day was I had trouble getting to sleep, so I was actually up till mid-afternoon today. I was going to sleep just as Satsu apparently was waking up, and my legs are killing me, y'all. I started exercising again. What is you playing a drum over there? What is that? Boom, boom.
I don't know what that was.
Scribbles, you okay?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here.
Oh, I thought that was coming from you.
No, I'm cleaning my glasses, but that's not a drum sound.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what that noise was.
Let's get this now. The children out of the way. Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button, guys, and make sure you share stuff from YouTubers you like, including us. My day was fun, but short. I read a nice article on Bernie Sanders, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And it was actually a pretty good article. I read an article about a politician that didn't seem to really suck up to him or slander him, and I was like, that is refreshing.
It wasn't a CNN article, was it?
No, it absolutely was not. It was
Yeah.
actually a Politico article. It was one that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was trying to make a point over, but it was still actually a pretty good article. So I a little bit of my faith in the electoral process was reaffirmed, and then at the very end of the article just shot to shit.
No.
Guys, we will be gaming tonight over on 2 Cents Plus right after this. Scribe, you got anything going on this weekend? Show-wise?
Oh, no, I'm doing stuff with my sister tomorrow, and I don't know, I might be inspired to do some kind of random live stream tomorrow.
Cool.
We'll see. Depends on what goes on.
Diesel Dave, thank you, says YouTube, or damn it, YouTube, fix your shit. What they did.
Didn't tell him that there was a stream, probably.
Oh, of course. Remember, guys, follow us on Twitter. Links are below because that is your best way to find out when we go live or have a new video up. So with that, how about we move on to the news? Scribbles, well, what's in the news today?
Well, there's the story you told me to have ready.
It's the one based on the title. I hate having a title where you're like, what the hell does that even mean? But
yeah, you don't want to be me.
I try to be helpful.
Yeah, you don't want to make up obscure and cryptic titles like I do. Gaming disorder is officially recognized as a disease by the World Health Organization.
Let me just say before we read this, bullshit. But go ahead.
The subheading to this is industry calls for a rethink, saying decision was made with a lack of evidence. So this article has been updated at some point since it was first published. There's a big update at the top of the screen. The World Health Organization has officially recognized gaming disorder as a disease. In response, industry representatives from around the world immediately called on the WHO to rethink its decision, saying it was, quote, not based on sufficiently robust evidence, unquote. The long-awaited decision was agreed by WHO member states at the agency's 72nd World Health Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland today. The WHO says the condition included in 11th revision of the International Classification of Diseases, or the ICD-11, is characterized by, quote, persistent or recurring gaming behavior, unquote, that causes a, quote, significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other important areas of functioning, unquote. In the WHO's definition, the disorder manifests in three ways. Quote, impaired control, unquote, over gaming, an individual prioritizing gaming over other life interests and daily activities, and continued gaming activity in, quote, continued gaming activity in, quote, despite the occurrence of negative consequences, in despite. You just need despite. Not in despite, just need despite. Gaming disorder was first proposed as an addictive behavior in December of 2017, with the full definition finalized in June of 2018. In a joint statement, game industry bodies from Europe, the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Korea, South Africa, and Brazil said the WHO should re-examine its decision at an early date. Quote, the WHO is an esteemed organization and its guidance needs to be based on regular, inclusive, and transparent reviews backed by independent experts. Gaming disorder is not based on sufficiently robust evidence to justify its inclusion in one of the WHO's most important norm-setting tools, said the statement. So there you go. They've got the original story down below, but it's basically a restatement of what was above. And yeah, so guess what, y'all? Monkey and Satsu have a disease.
Problem. Yeah, the original story, the only difference is they hadn't actually voted yet.
Right.
The problem with this, guys, if that is declared a mental, and one of the reasons a lot of the Scandinavian countries going, whoa, is that qualifies you for things like Social Security now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get paid.
Yeah.
Let me get some of that.
I have a chronic disease and I need that to be accounted for in my workplace.
Yes.
It's a mental disorder. You can't fire me because of it, but I need to do something to do therapy at work. So that's why I'm playing Marathon on my laptop.
Can you imagine? Due to medical reasons, I need to take a week off when Call of Duty comes out.
Yes. Look, there are people who can take playing video games too far, just like people can do that with anything. Mm-hmm. But it is not an addiction the same way like alcoholism is. It?
Or, you know what?
What's that?
I need the government to supplement my DLC costs.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
A DLC stipend from the government. Hells yeah. Gaming's an addiction like shopping. Yeah, I'd give you that, Jesse. I mean, yes, it does feed part of our brain. And there are people who take it too far who, like what they said in there, people who put off other things in their life, like bathing. Some of y'all motherfuckers know you need to stop and bathe once in a while. That's just, I have a confession. I'm addicted to tic-tac-toe. I don't think that's been officially recognized yet, Backscan. Sorry. That's just us gamers right now. I can't believe this is actually a thing.
I can. I mean, there was a whole the dumbest episode of Intervention I ever saw was on video game addiction. I'm not even kidding. There was this kid, and he was playing video games and playing video games and playing video games. His mother was hating it, and he was like, putting video games and just sitting there in front of the boob tube for hours and hours and hours, and it was affecting his schoolwork and everything else. The funniest part, or the saddest part, I guess, of that episode was there was one of the people involved in his circle of loved ones was this best friend / neighbor girl friend of his who was wanting to rape him. I mean, she so wanted to fuck this guy, and he wouldn't get off of the computer. It was really sad. I was like, dude, she's hot, and she obviously just wants to ravish you. Why are you playing fucking Call of Duty?
Right, you better learn how to do both. Shit.
No
I
doubt.
was just,
She's
yeah, exactly.
on your lap.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, what? But anyway, but the thing is that this kid was sitting there. He's like, I'm not addicted. I mean, he wasn't even acting like an addict or anything. He was just an irresponsible kid is what he was. But they were treating it like he had, I mean, the mother was crying and they were like he had some kind of heroin addiction or something. So now there have been people who have taken it too far. There was that I remember, it might be an urban legend now, but there was a guy, I think it was in South Korea, and he played StarCraft for like 48 hours straight without getting up or something. And he got an embolism because he got a blood clot in his leg and something. He died. And there have been people who have done something stupid like that, but that's like one in a zillion that actually go that far or do something that reckless.
Right.
And even then, that's not an addiction. It's just somebody who's didn't put the fucking controller down. Oh God, sitting in a chair like that, doing anything. That's all right. Guys, I have an addiction, and I need y'all to just work with me on that. I need to fill out my Social Security form over this.
No, what you need to start is a therapy fund in order that you can feed your addiction while not going overboard, and so you have to have enough money by the time the next Steam sale comes around.
Steam's my pusher.
That's right, Steam. Yes. See now, well, here's the thing: if video games is an addiction, how is Steam not providing an illegal substance or an addictive substance?
I wonder if like places where you go for rehabilitation will be like they'll have to have video game consoles there now. Like it's mandatory for them to have a gaming system.
Do they, when you go to one of those centers, do they make you go cold turkey or do they like slowly walk you down?
Yeah, what does a video game rehab center look like, I wonder? Now there's a movie plot right there. There's a comedy for like Owen Wilson and what's his name to do. Like video game rehab or some reality show. That's what we need. Dr. Drew to come out, video game rehab.
And remember, this is the same people who tell you this is an addiction want the government to pay for addiction, so they have to give me money because I'm addicted to video games. I'd be playing right now if I could. So I'm trying to tell you. I'm jonesing. I'm shaking a little bit. You can't see it, but I'm shaking over here. Anyway.
Oh my God. You can tell them to get off of this though. Like it'll be really easy. Like, hey, if you support this, you'll be supporting Gamergate. Think of all those toxic gamers who are going to be. They're going to. Oh, wait a minute. We need to walk this back.
Chicago Mike, thank you. Are there people that need a GoFundMe for Candy Crush? There probably are.
Oh, does that mean that Twitch is one big snuff film?
Yes.
Oh my God. This has so many implications.
We're going to see women in the streets going, I will suck your dick for some Call of Duty.
Anyway.
Yeah.
How about somebody else who needs to get away from the console once in a while, like Trump and Twitter?
Real quick before you go there, Darkshade, thank you. Fleeking white tags. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Trump and Abe's Friendship Day starts with tweet underscoring divides. Hours before President Donald Trump was set to begin a day of male bonding with his Japanese counterpart. They're like play samurais or something?
Yes, they're going to play video games.
No, he issued a tweet underscoring his lingering divides with Prime Minister Shinzo Abe over security matters. The episode highlights the challenges that Abe faces in cultivating an ally in Trump, whose deeply personal view of diplomacy has led to ample displays of friendship that nevertheless sometimes fail to yield results. Trump tweeted as he prepared for a round of golf with Abe that he doesn't view North Korea's recent short-range missile tests as disturbing, a view deeply at odds with his Japanese hosts and in conflict with statements made a day earlier by his national security advisor. Quote, North Korea fired off some small weapons which disturbed some of my people and others, but not me, Trump wrote on Twitter. What about that other part? You can tell us the other part? No, you don't tell us the other part. Monkey, what was that other part?
Oh, he Trump tweeted today, and it caused quite the.
Oh, here it is. Sorry, no, sorry, I
got it?
misspoke. It's in here. Sorry. It'll be there in a minute. Japanese government has said that North Korea's recent test of short-range missiles violated UN resolutions, a determination that National Security Advisor John Bolton agreed with in Tokyo on Saturday during a briefing with reporters. Trump, who has chafed in recent weeks at what he views as an overly hawkish approach from Bolton. Donald, did you not pay attention to John Bolton when he was in the Trump administration?
No, Bush administration.
Sorry, the Bush administration, because he said that you could blow up like 4 floors of the UN and still not have changed anything. Yeah, Bolton is a hawk and has always been a hawk. Why are you? Anyway, Trump also tweeted this, quote, "I have confidence that Chairman Kim will keep his promise to me," Trump said in his tweet, before taking a swipe at Vice President and Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden, which you then don't quote.
You want me to quote it for you?
Yeah, because they're not going to, which is completely bizarre.
Okay. And it does need to be noted that Biden is spelled wrong in this. North Korea fired off some small weapons, which disturbed some of my people and others, but not me. I have confidence that Chairman Kim will keep his promise to me, and also smiled when he called Swamp Man Joe Biden a low IQ individual and worse. Perhaps that's sending me a signal? And Biden is spelled Bidan.
Okay, so extending the greatest benefit of the doubt as I can, was Trump making a joke about, foreign interference in elections? Yeah. Okay.
I think he was obviously making a joke there at the end about are they signaling to me? But the rest of it, I think he was being as serious as could be. He was enjoying that Kim was talking shit about Biden.
Yeah. Murderous dictator talking smack about your potential Democratic rival. Yeah, let's cheerlead that, shall we?
And you do have to remember Biden. Kim would know who Biden is because he was vice president under Obama. So, yeah, I'm sure they had a good laugh at low IQ Biden. Donald, first of all, you have the wrong insult for Biden. He may be low IQ. I don't know. But sniffer, something with the sniffing. Come on. Creepy Joe. Come on. Nope. Thank you. Why can Monkey read tweets but nothing on MITAM? What?
Cough.
I read everything on MITAM.
I think they meant well.
Oh, I don't read anything well.
That time of the morning.
Apparently you're reading the tweets good enough for them.
All right. Well, anyway, headline news, Trump is a goofball and an idiot. Yay.
Yeah, look, I get what he was going for. He's Trump, so he's laughing. But Mr. President, come on. Just once, come on. The first part of that tweet, I have no problem with. There's people think this was disturbing. I disagree. Cool. Nothing wrong with that. You're the president. You're allowed to disagree. I think he's going to keep his promise to me. Little naive, but cool. The rest of it, there's just no need for that. And yeah, I know a lot of people like the funny side of Trump over on the Twitter and fucking with Biden. Again, if you're going to call somebody low IQ, spell their name right. I feel like if you're insulting somebody's intelligence, your post doing so needs to be spelled perfectly. That has always been my rule. Anyhow.
Let's see. How about a story that sounds a little bit like a police state in San Francisco?
I'm shocked.
San Francisco police chief says raid on journalist's home may have violated California shield law. San Francisco Police Chief Bill Scott called for an independent investigation Friday into the department's handling of leaked documents and the subsequent raid of a journalist's home. Freelance journalist Brian Carmody obtained a confidential police report that included information about the February death of prominent San Francisco public defender Jeff Adachi. Carmody, 59, refused to tell authorities how he obtained the documents in April. During a raid of Carmody's home weeks later, officers seized his computers, cameras, phones, and notebooks. Days after the May 10th raid, Scott said at a news conference there is a criminal investigation into whether Carmody was a, quote, active participant in the commission of the criminal acts beyond his role with the news media, unquote. Despite those comments, Scott released a statement Friday saying the department is seeking an independent, impartial investigation by a separate investigatory body. Scott said he was concerned, quote, by a lack of due diligence by department investigators in seeking search warrants and appropriately addressing Mr. Carmody's status as a member of the news media, unquote. Quote, this has raised important questions about our handling of this case and whether the California Shield Law was violated, Scott's statement read. The Shield Law protects journalists from being held in contempt for refusing to reveal their sources. Scott's statement also said Scott's statement also said the Department of Police Accountability will investigate both the search warrant that was executed on Carmody's home and the release of the Adachi police report. The department, Scott said, under the oversight of the San Francisco Police Commission, will also review protocols involving members of the news media. However, Police Officers Association is calling for Scott's resignation. Scott said the investigation came at the request of San Francisco Mayor London Breed. The mayor initially supported the raid, but later tweeted, quote, the more we learn, the less appropriate it looks to me. Quote, a free and independent press plays a crucial role in our society, and we have to work harder to honor not only the letter of California's Shield Law, but also the spirit of it, Breed tweeted May 19th. The San Francisco Police Officers Association called for Scott's resignation Saturday because the organization said he ordered the investigation into Carmody and is now trying to throw the officers who carried out the raid, quote, under a double-decker bus, unquote.
Wow.
Quote, SFPD Chief William Scott showed everyone in the SFPD and all San Franciscans that his character consists of, and it was a pathetic, deceitful, and shameful display of self-preservation, finger pointing, and political kowtowing. We all deserve better. Damn.
Real quick, thank you, Terry Diamanis. Muck me is an idiot. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. That goes back to spell things right if you're insulting people. Well done, Terry. Yeah, I don't have anything to add to this other than way to show some infighting there.
Yeah, it's like, how did you get this information? I'm not going to say. We're raiding your home. Like, wait,
yeah.
That's not how that works.
Well, yeah. The story of that was disturbing when it first happened. I was like, that seems wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
that reporter. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I read that the actual story of what happened there. What was it? 3 or 4 days ago on Monkey in the Morning, and yeah, literally, this was the one where he ended up having some crime scene photos. Mm-hmm. Like, how did you get that? Well, obviously, somebody who works at your department gave it to him. He wasn't there taking the pictures, but their reasoning, one of the reasonings they gave is he could know who did it. Like, you think the guy who did it has the crime scene photos with your little markers and shit on it? Come on, you know better. You're just trying to find out who the rat is in your ranks. Stop it. This is intimidation and it's bullshit.
Intima bullshit?
Intima bullshit. That's what it is.
Well, that reporter is probably going to have a large civil rights lawsuit against the police department sooner or later.
Have fun.
Hi, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Bye, Lady Monkey.
They say bye and good night. Love you, sweetie.
Let's see. So last one I've got, if I believe. Okay, never mind.
But no, I do want you to get. But Necrosol mentioned this in chat, and then he sent the picture to us over on Twitter. He's probably the biggest addicted gamer. He's played so much Xbox. He's literally in the top 3% played in the world. So good job, Necrosol. I think you need to seek some treatment, my friend. Okay, I'm sorry, Scribe.
No. You need to retweet that out to the WHO, and they can use you as a test case.
Yes.
Because
Maybe.
if the industry is looking for robust evidence, you might be living evidence.
There you go.
So this is a big story that is kind of a super update to a story we talked about, oh God, at least a year ago or something. I can't remember. It'll probably say in here. But it might ring a bell as soon as I read the headline. How an internet mob falsely painted a Chipotle employee as racist.
Oh, this story. Yeah.
So we'll get a big update. Dominique Moran knew something was wrong as soon as she awakened that Friday morning. She turned on her smartphone and saw the first of what would become a barrage of texts and voicemails. Quote, "Are you okay?" Quote, "I just wanted you to know there's a video of you going around with you and this person, ... Hey, you're on Twitter." Only the night before, Moran was an unknown 23-year-old student in St. Paul, Minnesota. She had moved there from Southern California to attend college on a softball scholarship. Living alone in a new city, she worked at a Chipotle to make ends meet and attend a Lutheran church. That morning, though, she discovered she had become someone else. Strangers were calling her nasty names on social media. Her photo was plastered across internet news sites. A video was circulating online, and she was its villain. In it, she could be seen refusing to serve a group of black men at the restaurant the previous evening. Her notoriety spread so quickly that her mother called from California the next day. "What happened? What did you do?" "Slow down," Moran told her. "There's a backstory. We're good." But Moran didn't feel so good after hanging up. Her body went numb. She took deep breaths. She felt a panic attack coming. She then fell from her chair and collapsed. As she gathered herself on her apartment floor, she reached for the only form of solace she could think of. She started to pray. Just about every week, we see the same story. Someone takes a jittery smartphone video of a white person caught in the act of doing something that's labeled racist. An army of online commentators mobilizes. The video goes viral, and the person in the video is publicly shamed, often losing a job or being ostracized by the community. His or her name becomes a hashtag for hate. The circulation of these racist outrage videos is so common that they've become the online version of background noise. The social scientist Eugenia Cepera says they often trigger, quote, ambient digital racism, unquote. Sounds like bullshit to me anyway. Racially toxic online posts from ordinary people that are so commonplace they no longer shock. Yet there is another part of this story that is rarely told because it is not as common. What happens when you are falsely accused of being a racist in a video? How does your life change after you become a racist meme? How do you handle your own outrage? For the last 6 months, Moran has been trying to answer those questions. She was dubbed online as the racist bitch. The video of her November confrontation was watched at least 7 million times and retweeted at least 30,000 times within 2 days. The incident was covered by media organizations such as ABC News and Fox News. Chipotle fired Moran after the video went viral. Soon after that, she would be vindicated. But while the internet mob moved on, she hasn't. Quote, "Life is really difficult," she said. "Everything has changed." She talks as if she's experiencing some digitally induced form of post-traumatic stress disorder. Mood swings, anxiety. She sometimes recoils when someone tries to take a smartphone video or picture of her. In conversation, Moran exudes a mixture of defiance and vulnerability. She often alludes to her faith and says, "God has a plan." But she doesn't know what the plan is for her yet. At various times, she wanted to be a teacher, a cook, and a writer. Introspective and a bit melancholy, Moran draws portraits and writes poetry in her spare time. Moran says that she's spent a lot more time alone because of the viral video. Quote, "I really don't have a desire to meet new people right now. I feel drained of energy." Maybe, though, there's something to be learned from her pain. Oh, I don't know. It still happens. It's been said that a lie will go around the world while truth is pulling its boots on. That adage has never been truer than when an entire online audience is, as one critic put it, perpetually primed for outrage.
Mhm.
Could anything have prevented Moran's public shaming? And why did it spread so quickly when there were warning signs from the beginning? There were 3 factors at play that made her story so disturbing, one of which offers at least some hope. I'm going to go through them quickly because there's a lot here.
Mhm.
Reason number 1, the power of confirmation bias. So there's a white person being racist. She's obviously being racist because we're black. So she's racist. The end. that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, the power of internet mob justice. Yeah, without any context and people just reacting rather than thinking first or waiting for more information, people are tried and convicted instantly. And 3, all you need is one person with a question. Okay, now this is the one that I'm not quite sure about. 2 days after her video went viral, Moran got another call from her mother. People are on your side now, she said. Moran's reputation was salvaged by a stranger. He decided to ask a question no one else seemed to ask after watching the video. His name is Andrew Hallworth, and he is immersed in the internet culture. Hallworth is a chatty, jovial news junkie who works in a supply chain analytics for a distribution company. He devours news sites and Twitter. When he first spotted the Chipotle video, the racist angle didn't make sense. Moran wasn't the only person in the video suspicious of the young black men's intentions, he noted. So were her coworkers, who were all people of color. What were the chances of all of them being racist? Hallworth did a quick Google search of the man who first called out Moran on his Twitter page. He discovered that the man had allegedly tweeted several times about dining and dashing at Chipotle and other restaurants. Quote, "That's when the red flag started going off," Hallworth says. He posted his findings on Twitter and started taking on people accusing Moran of racism. Hallworth said he couldn't stand to see Moran publicly crucified. It goes on for another few pages, but I mean, he showed that these guys were scamming restaurants again and again and publicizing it.
Yeah, bragging about it openly.
Yeah. And so then they take this one video and out of context, they frame her as a racist. Nobody, the media, anyone else decided to check the source. But this guy did, thankfully. But she's still fucked up. And she probably will be for the rest of her life, because how do you get over something like that? So anyway.
That mob got their blood, man.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, I can't say that I've even thought about that until I saw this article today. It just slipped my mind. But it's going to stick with her for probably the next 20 years.
I see this one every so often, because every so often there is an article written about, the online mob. And probably the most famous one still is the reporter who had tweeted about how she was going to Africa. I hope I don't get AIDS. Wait, what am I thinking? Or never mind, I'm white. And she was making a joke. She was actually a very, very liberal woman who has argued against the idea of the racist idea that only blacks get AIDS in Africa. So she was making a joke about something that she actually believed in, but people who did not know her saw this and like, oh, that racist cunt, and it completely fucking ruined her life. She had to leave the city she was in. She now lives in the middle of fucking nowhere doing, the internet outrage mob, man. I'd never want to be on the end of it, especially in a case like this. But what about the Covington kids? We saw the same thing with them. We've seen this so many times lately, where people, it's like, well, that looks kind of racist. It must be. Boom, that person's life is ruined. I feel bad for that girl. I really do.
Yeah, see, and I mean, it's a double-sided coin, because when you can use the internet to gain mass attention to something that actually deserves it, like a charity or an emergency or something, like the tidal wave in the Southeast Asia or something, and all of a sudden just tons of donations come flowing through because of a hashtag or something. That's a good thing. When you think you're doing the righteous thing, regardless of whether it's right or not, it's just a snowball, especially now when everybody just like, it's an instantaneous, just click a button and you're done kind of thing.
Real quick, I want to address what Faithless said there. She said, I wonder how she feels about black people now. Did this improve anyone's perspective? Well, one, the vast majority of people I saw up this woman's ass were a bunch of little honkies with their nose in shit that didn't concern them. That's where I saw most. I think Satsu is the only black person I follow. That's not true, but the vast majority of it was the same people it always is. The same people. I'm going to fight for you even though I'm not you. These assholes.
Yeah. And they weren't doing it to be virtuous or anything like that. It was just like, see, that's not us. We don't. That person's bad. I'm the good one. Me, look at me. I'm good.
That's right.
I don't do that stuff that person did.
I'm a good honky. Yeah. So I see what you're saying there, Faith, but her thing with black people, it wasn't black people, it was those specific guys, because if you followed the story, they had been in that restaurant before. They had dealt with these kids before.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she didn't go, oh, black people, they don't pay. It's like, you motherfuckers don't pay. And It was the internet who changed it into black people don't pay. But anyway, sorry. Is that all we had for the news there? I'm sorry, Did anybody else have something to add there before I move us on?
Nope.
Beautiful. Okay. So with that, guys, we're going to move on to MSS News Time. If there's a story you'd like us to take a look at, hit us up at the hashtag MSS News over on the Twitter machine. We can't get to all of them, but that's just because we're video game addicts and we got a little Jones going on. Scribe?
Yes. This one comes from John Migda. If it'll come up here. The grandkids strike. This is from slate.com because, Slate. The undertitle is, here's an idea. Change your parents' bad voting habits by refusing to breed.
Is this like not going to Thanksgiving dinner?
This might be a variant on Alyssa Milano. Oh, and as I scroll down, what's the first sentence? The actress and activist Alyssa Milano has drawn criticism in recent weeks for encouraging women to stop having sex in protest of the abortion bans the GOP has recently passed in several state legislatures. I almost started running out of breath. Quote, it's reminding people that we have control over our own bodies and how to use them, she told the Associated Press, noting that the tactic has been used to successful ends by women-led pacifist movements in Liberia and among the Iroquois. I don't think I've thought of the Iroquois since the last time I thought about the Indian in the cupboard. That's another story.
So wait, is she comparing a place where women probably don't have the freedom to deny sex with a place where? Okay,
just let it happen.
Satsu, stop thinking. Stop thinking, Satsu. Those wins aside, the wins of Liberia and the Iroquois, sex strikes rest on some faulty premises, that women don't have sexual needs of their own, that sex is a gift for women to bestow upon others, and that women only have sex with men. Well, every adult votes, and that anyway. Plus, women and men in the U.S. have very similar views about abortion. Women are even slightly more likely to call themselves pro-life. The Republican men working to pass abortion bans, or the female governors signing them, maybe, are far more likely to be sleeping with women who share their opinions than with those withholding sex for political reasons. But I admit that the prospect of harnessing one's sexual and reproductive powers for social good is a tempting one. So I'd like to present what I humbly consider a much better proposal. Instead of a sex strike, let's try a grandkid strike. Okay, this idea stemmed from a tweet by This idea stemmed from a tweet by comedian and writer Ashley Nicole Black, who got a phone call from presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren after asking if the famously proposal-happy senator had a plan to fix my love life. After the two women spoke, Black summed up their conversation on Twitter. "We have a plan to get my mom grandkids," she wrote. "It's very comprehensive, and it does involve raising taxes on billionaires," unquote. That's kind of funny.
Real quick, Kahlo asks, thank you for the donation. So what happens when she gets pregnant by mistake? Well,
Black surely meant this as a joke. No, there's no guessing. It was. Anyway. But at Slate, some of us wondered if she just happened upon a brilliant new weapon of progressivism.
That's because we at Slate are fucking idiots.
How much are you guys selling for again, Slate? What is it? Anyway, or you're out of business or something? I forget what it was.
Whatever it is, it's too much.
Yeah. Moving on. This one comes from Massive Dynamics.
Before you move on, as I just posted on Twitter, I just want to say I absolutely support liberals not breeding.
Me too.
What? Well, it wouldn't make
Scribe
sense
broke the cardinal rule.
if I
He's gone
added
full
that.
retard.
If I added that to the end of the next story, it wouldn't make sense.
That's true.
It belongs here. I'm just saying.
Oh, gee.
Okay. I was about to say the next story might get Monkey demonetized for conspiracy theories.
Bring it up.
This one comes from Massive Dynamics. This is from, I guess it's the UK. Now, this I could believe happening in the UK. The government is quietly creating a digital ID card without us noticing. But this is in an opinion column. So, okay. From photography and home video to webcams and internet streaming, the next wave of technology has been often heralded by porn. Today, that pattern is being repeated, only this time the technology in question isn't a new way of consuming porn, but a new way of policing it, and it is driven not by sexual desire, but government regulation. In less than 2 months, the UK will become the first country in the world to bring in age checks for online porn. Anyone visiting a porn website will be required to prove they are over 18 using a variety of methods. Beset by poor planning and bad handling, porn block, as it is known, has been treated for the most part as a bizarre one-off, okay? An online equivalent of Brexit. The New York Times called it a distinctly British moral crusade. That may be true, but the porn block is anything but a one-off. It is a testing ground for a system of digital identity checks, which could become an integral part of everything from internet shopping to social media. A crucial, yet strangely barely recognized, milestone in the death of anonymity online. That might sound like an exaggeration. In fact, it's on its way to becoming a government policy. Britain, bare-tailed, all you guys, I feel real sorry for you. But that's why VPNs are, well, proud to be American right now. Who knows what's going to happen down the line. Right. In mid-April, a few days after the launch of the government's long-awaited online harms white paper, the Information Commissioner's Office announced a code of practice for age-appropriate design online, proposing strong restrictions on the way under 18s are treated online.
Under 18s?
Under 18s, as it's called. Let's scroll down and see if they talk about what exactly the steps you have to take to verify yourself are. This is one of those stories where they have like gigantic images in the middle of the story. Like they take up a whole screen for some reason. Okay. I thought they were going to tell us what the checks were going to be. Maybe they're in there somewhere. Anyway, yeah, sucks to be in the UK.
But they're getting a new leader.
Yeah, it might be. It might be Boris Johnson. That's not
True.
A plus. Okay, this one comes from Quinn Harrison. State prepares to move transgender inmate to women's prison.
Oh, God.
That ought to be interesting. The North Carolina Department of Public Safety announced Friday that it plans to transfer a transgender inmate to a women's prison by August 22nd. Canonica Zaire Brown. Canonica. Okay. 37, began a series of surgeries in 2012 to transition to a woman. In October 2017, she was sentenced to nearly 10 years in prison for insurance fraud and other crimes. Would that insurance fraud possibly involve surgeries on herself? I'm guessing. Zaire Brown was initially housed at Harnett Correctional Institution in Lillington, where she slept in an open room with 37 men and shared a community shower and bathroom with them. After she requested to be moved to a women's prison, DPS moved her in March to Warren Correctional Institution in Manson, where she has been housed in a single cell as opposed to an open dormitory. In a February interview with WRAL News, she said she wasn't asking for special treatment, only to be housed in a prison that matches her gender. Quote, "I am a female. I am going to be treated as a female. I want the state to recognize me as a female and treat me accordingly," she said. The state still has her listed by her birth name, Kevin Chestnut. Okay. Well, anyway, she's
Now-
getting her wish.
I wonder which surgery she's had.
I don't know.
Anyway, the reason I ask is because we've seen this before. We've seen trans women put into women's facilities. And the last time we read a story about this, I don't know if you guys remember it, it was because that person was being back to a men's facility because they had sexually assaulted several of the women in the place.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's the last time we read a story about this kind of stuff.
I guess we'll find out. Let's see. This one comes from Frosted Glass. We kind of talked about this last night, but it's a story from the Mary Sue. So, got to be good. Captain Marvel takes on toxic masculinity in new deleted scene.
Oh, God. I finally watched that.
Yeah, and it's as bad as you can imagine. It is the dumbest thing ever. It's always, don't beat up on someone weaker than you. You have the most powerful hero in the Marvel universe, and a guy is flirting with Captain Marvel. I mean, I think this was like Brie Larson's fever dream of what she could have done or wanted to do at the airport when that guy asked her for her number.
Somebody mentioned that exact thing last night. I hadn't even thought about it, but yeah.
Captain Marvel may still be lingering in theaters, but if you want to watch it from the comfort of your own couch, good news. The film is coming to digital download May 28th, and the Blu-ray will be released on June 11th. Mary Sue, are you just like a shill for Marvel DVDs and shit now? Okay, deleted scenes. We've already seen a very cute deleted scene of Carol, Yon-Rogg, and some baby Kree recruits. The scene is charming, but it doesn't give us much new information beyond what we already know. Actually, that scene, I watched that scene. That gives more humor to the character of Captain Marvel than I have seen in any other source so far. It almost makes her slightly relatable as a human being. But they took that out of the movie. Okay. However, the newly released scene, What No Smile, delivers exactly what we want from Captain Marvel, namely Carol kicking ass and taking down the patriarchy.
No, that's her committing several felonies.
Yeah, that is the most oversensitive, eggshell-thin psyche asshole. That's not a hero. I try to imagine any of the other superheroes in any of the other Marvel movies doing something as petty, as cruel, as violent as that. I mean, Captain America will steal a truck, but he won't hurt the guy in taking it,
And he won't threaten him to get it. It's not like, if you don't give me your truck, I'm going to rip off your hand, which is literally what she's saying. That real fast. Sir Wolfgang, thank you. They couldn't wait till Civil War II to make Captain Marvel a villain in the MCU? Jesus Christ. Well, yeah.
Basically, the story then just breaks down, which you can watch on the video itself. And Captain Marvel's sitting there reading a newspaper or something. She's
looking at a map.
Looking at a map. Sorry, biker guy pulls up. He walks over to her and he starts flirting with her, basically asking her to smile, etc. And then he says, "How about a smile?" And she says, "How about a handshake?" And she grabs his hand and then threatens to tear his hand off unless he gives her his clothing and his bike.
Yeah.
And then she takes his clothing and his bike and drives off, leaving him like on the ground, wincing in pain. She's an asshole and a thief and just hurt an innocent person for no reason.
So they were like, just in case anybody had any questions, she is just as unlikable as you thought.
Yeah. I mean, a usual Marvel movie, she would have said something smart or sassy or something, and tried to sweet talk the guy.
Or they have this little exchange. He walks into the store and she steals it. One, she needs a way to get around. And hey, this guy was an asshole. Okay, maybe I can give you that. Fucking threatening his fucking physical violence to steal. She's not the Punisher, for fuck's sake.
Actually, what would have been more funny if like he comes up to her, he starts flirting with her, and she says, "Hey, I really like your coat." And then they do a hard cut to him standing there, to her like walking off with the coat or whatever, and then you pan over and he's like checking out that leather suit she just gave him in trade as his new biker jacket. Something like that, something fun, something that's cute.
Yeah.
But no, you turn him into a thug. Now they took this scene out of the movie, so it's not part of canon. But Jesus.
Real quick, thank you, Okie Native. Wait, she pulled a Terminator 2 move, kinda, yeah, and
yeah, exactly.
It's being pointed out that that was taken out of the movie, but only part of it was. Only the part where the interaction between them, because she still steals that bike.
Right.
And Darkshade, thank you. With great power, anyone? Yeah, right. With great power comes great ability to steal from people you don't like.
And people you don't like for the most petty of reasons. I mean, he didn't assault her. He didn't catcall her. He was just flirting. And of course, Brie Larson is not one to be flirted with, as we know.
No.
Let's see. What's this?
Oh,
I guess we've gone too long. I'm sorry.
Well, no, let's do like two more.
Okay.
I'm light on the fucketry tonight, so.
Okay, I'm gonna do one from Miss Slim, because we haven't done one from Miss Slim in forever.
Cool.
So Miss Slim sends us this one. Home intruder steals nothing, cleans home instead. I think we've seen stories like this before, but this is a new one apparently. When a Massachusetts homeowner returned to his home and realized someone had broken in, he was terrified. But after a quick search, he realized the intruder hadn't taken anything. Instead, they'd cleaned up. The family actually found the home more perfectly made up than when they left. Nate Roman, 44, said he returned to his Marlboro home with his 5-year-old son last week when the boy noticed the back door was open. Quote, it was terrifying to know someone was in your house, he said. The home invader made all the beds, stacked his son's stuffed animals, and left an origami rose on the toilet paper. Quote, they scrubbed everything down. They did the shower, did the toilets, Roman said. Roman said every room in the house had been cleaned except for the kitchen. Quote, I was immediately worried that someone was in the house, he said. Confused and unsure what to think, he called the police. The Marlboro Police Department said officers were taking the case very seriously but had no leads or suspects. Roman believes because of the toilet paper roses, it was probably a cleaning service that went to the wrong house, but he's not taking any chances and so has changed all the locks on his home. That is bizarre.
See, now, real quick, Darkshade, thank you. And subtly calling the villain Don classy. Yeah, right. They call me the Don.
Mm-hmm.
They make this sound like a cute little kind of story and like, oh, there's really nothing to be worried. I'm thinking it's a good thing he doesn't have rabbits because one of them would get boiled. This to me sounds like some crazy bitch that he Tindered with.
Mm-hmm.
And she broke into his house and this will make him love me. Check his Tinder, y'all. Check it. I'm telling you.
Let's see. And the last one I'll do, excuse me, is from Jack the motherfucking Cockring. This is something I was going to bring up at Internet Fucketry, but might as well do it here. YouTube censors Lauren Southern documentary Borderless. Yeah, today they actually did just take it down. They just deleted it.
Of course.
So yeah, last night, if you tried to save it to your watch later, it showed up as a deleted video. And then today they just removed it completely. Now, it has been mirrored in places. So if you really want to find it, you can. I started watching a bit of it. I didn't see anything political about it at all, really. But then I didn't watch the whole thing. So anyway, moving on. YouTube censored Borderless, a new documentary about mass immigration from independent filmmaker Lauren Southern on the day of its release. The feature-length documentary was taken down from YouTube less than 24 hours after it was uploaded and is currently unavailable. Well, unavailable on Lauren Southern's channel, at least. YouTube has yet to give Southern an explanation for its removal. Southern has since uploaded a backup version to YouTube, although the loss of the original is likely to skew the documentary's view count. Southern's previous documentary about the racially motivated murder of white farmers in South Africa accumulated over 2.3 million views on the platform. Southern says she received a message from YouTube saying the video had, quote, stopped processing, unquote. I watched the first 3 minutes of it last night. If it hadn't processed, you couldn't do that. But Southern points out that processing errors take place before a video has been uploaded, not after. Exactly. The Google-owned platform initially appeared to soft censor Southern's documentary. YouTube users attempting to access the video found it marked as deleted in their favorites feed and disappeared from their subscription feed, which is meant to show videos from subscribed channels. Yeah, so that's the story. There's not anything else until YouTube says otherwise. But yeah, I started watching it, and it's just, honestly, it's kind of boring. I mean, it's interesting sort of from a, I don't know, maybe I need to get further into it, but it's basically just her sort of like filming them, watching people smuggle each other across the border, or trying to find smugglers in like Turkey and Greece and places.
Well, yeah, I'm not real interested in the story itself, her documentary itself, until I saw there's somebody on Twitter. I think it was Nick, not Fuentes, because that guy's an asshole. What's his name? Nick Monroe. He'd done a long Twitter thread about the documentary and how she actually gets in there and she talks to some smugglers and stuff who have various different reasons for why they do the smuggling. And that part I'm actually interested in seeing. So,
well, I think it's interesting that YouTube and Twitter, like both of these companies, for whatever reason, seem to think that they can overtly like take shit off of their website, like explain to us that it's an algorithm and all this shit, and it's the system that's built and we don't have a lot of control over it. It just kind of does what it wants. But for some reason, they are accurately taking the media that everybody who they claim to dislike or who is on the opposite side that they clearly have stated they have adverse feelings against, and like deleting their shit. And they're just like, no, it's an accident. I'm telling you guys, it's an accident. We really can't control any of it. It's like, the fuck out of here. How stupid do you think we are?
A processing error. Really? Come on.
A processing error on a video that you had, already been completely
already been processed. Yeah. Like, really?
Yeah, I'm not even a one of those guys that analyzes YouTube analytics and everything else, but I've uploaded many a video. I've had a few processing errors, and when you have a processing error, it means the video isn't posted. It doesn't show up as available for people to watch. It's anyway.
No, man. Processing error made the whole thing come down.
Yeah, apparently so.
But you know what? There's especially people who don't actually upload videos. I could see them buying that.
Sure.
Be like, oh yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, there's a processing error. Yeah, of course. No, come on. Those of us who do it know better. You fucking liars.
Yeah, I'd never seen that before, where like a video, I can go to the site, I can see the video there, comments, the whole 9 yards, the thumbnail, and then I click watch later. And then I go to my watch later list, and it's the only thing on there listed as deleted that I click on that actually takes me back to the video where I can watch it. I'd never seen that before.
Jackson chat there, he says, Lauren makes my pants tight. You and your skinny bitches, man.
Yeah,
she's not horrible, but he loves skinny bitches.
And she's fine. But she's a toothpick.
That's completely off topic. Guys, thank you so much for the submissions, and we're sorry we can't get to them all. You guys are so generous in those. But we have other things to do, like YouTube time, which brings us to Satsu. What you did today?
Well, I was looking at some new ideas for some more cooking videos. I've also been thinking of some ideas for releasing content, like regular videos, on both of my other channels. And I'm gonna once I figure out exactly how I'm gonna implement this, I'm gonna kind of pitch it to you guys during Lords of the Night, and we'll talk about it and see what you guys think of the idea for Satsu 2 cents, because I kind of want to upload videos on here just because, like, there's no real reason. Like, I'm not really looking for anything. I just think this concept would be interesting. So I'm going to try that out. And then I've been looking at some content that I can put up on my 2 Cents Plus channel in my downtime, like in between stuff. So just kind of mapping that stuff out a little bit. I got my hands on a couple more recipes. Somebody made a buffalo chicken dip on Twitter and tagged me in it and was like, "This I was inspired by your buffalo chicken lasagna, so check this out." And it looked pretty good, so I added that to my list. And I still got a couple other things that I was looking into. So a lot of background stuff. Nothing coming up yet. I think I'll do that grilled cheese video tomorrow that I was telling you guys about. I think I'll go ahead and record that tomorrow. Other than that, we got a stream tonight over on 2 Cents Plus. We'll be playing 7 Days to Die. So come and hang out. We're giving away a copy of Dead by Daylight. We gave away that yesterday, and it was pretty well received. So if you like games like that, we'll be giving that away tonight. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, and Scribbles.
Well, I posted a video this morning. I talked about it last night. It's a lady talking about authenticity, a often heard buzzword I've encountered in doing a lot of videos on corporate diversity and such. And you hear this a lot. You hear various versions of it, like bringing your authenticity to work, bringing your authentic self to work, bringing your whole self to work, that kind of thing. This lady offered up her own definition of what that means, and it is basically her describing the core aspects of human experience, like just self-discovery and such, but she's making it sound like it's something new. But as she goes on, it gets weirder. And it's one of those things where, you post a video and then you think about what she was saying, and then you realize you could have made a point that you didn't, but you've already posted the video. It's like, fuck. So as she proceeds, there's a point in the video at which, sorry, my words went backwards. She says, I might be quoting exactly, bring the spirit, let the spirit of authenticity flow through you, or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, because later on she talks about her book. She's shilling her book, which she says is an ideology. She specifically says this is an ideology. I'm like, an ideology for the workplace. And she says, by doing this, you can inspire others to be authentic themselves, and then everybody's lives will be better, and da-da-da. And I said, so your book and its teachings will save the world.
Yes.
Got it. Now, like I said, I've heard this concept numerous times about bringing your whole self, your authentic self to work. And there's something sort of insidious yet brilliant about what they're doing. And it's nothing new per se, but it just seems to be picking up more speed. And that's the idea that you're encouraging your employees to basically remove the line of professional distance, that your personal life and your working life become one. They're commingled. That you are, your workplace is also your support group, your family, etc. This is insidious but brilliant in a way, because if you actually encourage your workforce to operate that way, they are never not working for you. You know what I mean? Day in, day out, whether they're at the office or not, if their work life is so intertwined with their real life, then at no point as they're interacting with the rest of the world are they not an advertisement, an advocate, or an evangelical for your brand in some way, shape, or form. So that's to me what seems to be like the secret behind encouraging this notion. Because I think not having professional distance at work, or at least keeping it in mind, can become a problem. I mean, it all depends on the industry and the workplace, of course, but there should be a line, if for no other reason than your sanity, between telling the difference between when you're done with your workday and you can go have your own time, But anyway, she's just one more person who's trying to become some kind of corporate consultant, or perhaps she already is. I don't know much about the speaker herself, but she was promoting her book, A Workplace Ideology to Bring Your Authentic Self to Work. And it just sounded like halfway between Anthony Robbins and more self-help mumbo jumbo. So that's what I did.
All right. And I see Undoomed is streaming at the same time as me.
What?
Guys, go over there. Tell Undoomed I said hi, and then come back for the rest of this. I did Monkey in the Morning. I did not get to work on the video. I've been wanting to work on. I've already started that video. I just got to get it all pieced together, which I hope to do tomorrow morning. But did Monkey in the Morning. Midnight's Edge came, not Midnight's Edge, Midnight in Exile.
Midnight's Edge. Wow.
Don't make me go get him. No, Midnight in Exile came and joined us, and he's the one who does the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
You guys should check out that. That's always a lot of fun. And he was on with us, and it was down for a short period last night, guys. I had to fix something that accidentally got shown on screen, so that got taken care of. And this time I didn't destroy the whole video and end up losing it, so it is back up. If anybody's like, well, we missed that and it's gone now. No, it is back up. This time I just used the blur tool instead of their clipping tool, because I don't understand their clipping tool. And the blur tool actually worked very, very well. Just like you can't tell what the fuck was on the screen. So, by the way, if you guys ever need to use their blur tool, it actually works pretty well. So yeah, I did that. And then, yeah, as Satsu said, we're going to be over on 2 Cents Plus playing 7 Days to Die right after this. Make sure you guys come and watch that. And with that, we have YouTube taken care of, which brings us to the fucketry. The fucketry. Satsu.
Fucketry, huh?
Oh, there
yeah,
you go.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I was pulling Twitters. I should have been a little more proactive. So the first thing, the one thing that immediately stands out is, did you guys see the Candace Owens interview that people were talking about today?
I saw it posted. I never watched it though.
I caught like a little part of it. That's the one with the imam.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I caught just a little bit of it.
Yeah, well, he says in there that the left are more violent than ISIS. And her response to that was, yeah, that's true. And I'm just like, are you serious? Like, did she really just... I mean, and I get it. She doesn't do anything without a reason. I'm sure she invited him on to talk to him for a reason or whatever. And
in fairness, I do have to clear this up. He's the one that said that. She just agreed with it.
He said it, and she agreed with it. And my response to that was, the left is more violent than ISIS. I mean, yes, the left openly endorses political violence and brushes it off with apologetics, but we're talking about a punch or some shit thrown. But her silly ass did agree with it, so I mean,
yeah. Oh, you're not wrong about her agreeing with it.
Yeah, she definitely was like, yep. And I feel like it was one of those kind of, I'm not here to debate with him. I can't actively dispute this right now because of whatever reason I'm on this show for. So, like, just to try to like excuse why she wouldn't directly address that right then and there, because she has to play whatever role she's doing. That's her job. That's what she does. She plays the role. So I'm assuming that right then and there she was just like, I don't think so, but it's not my place to question it. So sure, whatever you say, buddy. But yeah, come on, stop it.
I have no doubt that she was happy to agree with that.
You think so?
Yeah, because it plays into the narrative. I don't think Candace is that smart. I think she's an excellent marketer. I've mentioned this many times. She's an excellent marketer, but she's not really that bright. And we saw that with the whole Hitler controversy. Do I think she actually believes it? I don't know that she put much thought into it, but when he said it, she probably went, that makes a lot of sense. You're right. And I actually believed it. So, but yeah, just in all fairness, he's the one that said it. She just agreed.
I did see another post about a game developer. You guys remember when we were talking about, there was a game supposed to be coming out where there was like a trans character or whatever, and a lot of people complained about some of the dialogue and stuff with that trans character, and they were talking about whether or not they were going to change it. Well, they decided to change it. They changed whatever the issue was, and one of the comments on here was, anyways, this is good, talking about the change. I'm still not going to get it because I could care less. Hey, at least it's something.
Jesus.
And they said, and I guess all the people who complain about censorship can just stay mad. So essentially what this company did is they changed an aspect of the game that nobody who was going to buy the game gave a fuck about. And the people's response to that was, well, good. I'm glad you did it. I don't give a fuck about you or your game, but fuck those people who had a problem with this. Thanks for making that change for me. And it's just like, you'll never learn, are you? Like, you're never going to learn. Why do you cater to the demographic that you are not selling to? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
Because that's the one that gets the attention. Squeaky wheel, man.
But I don't give a fuck how squeaky the wheel is if it ain't like it still doesn't make sense. If it's like squeaky wheel gets the attention, yeah, but that squeaky wheel is 10 miles from here. It's like, oh, then why do I give a fuck about that squeaky ass wheel? Who gives a shit? It's like 10 miles. Squeaky wheel. There's a squeaky wheel down there. Yeah, but I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter in this situation. So when people are like, you should change this thing about your game, this thing that's been prevalent in your game for what, 5-10 years. A lot of these games are on their 5th, 5th, and 10-year anniversaries, and this game has been the same this whole time. But for whatever reason, this iteration, somebody's like, yeah, the core fucking portion of your game needs to change, and they're like, oh god, we gotta do that. It's like, no, why would you even fucking? I don't know. It's stupid to me.
There are a couple of reasons for it. One, I agree with you. I think most people should take the Chick-fil-A method, just be like, fuck you, we don't care, and keep going about your business. However, one, the tech industry itself, you have to be SJW if you want to survive. Otherwise, you will just get beat the hell down in the public. And that matters to them because, you have to have a good reputation. You have to have a good, what's the word I'm looking for? Public reputation. However, you're absolutely right. This is something your fans have been. Why would you change something your fans have liked all along? They're obviously buying. But I understand why they do it. It's because they're morons. But it's the tech world, man.
Yeah, that just annoyed me. Outside of that, I think that was pretty much it. I mean, there was a little more added to the conversation that I was having with with Jeff Holiday before about the violence, because I kind of chimed in on that conversation with him and Sinatra or whatever, because like I said, I'm not going to entertain anything that I think he's doing that's disingenuous, but because I felt like this was an actual conversation, I chimed in. And like I said, I don't disagree with what he was initially saying, that people should stop thinking that just because it's illegal and it's wrong to physically assault people, that a person is not going to assault you when you say the dumb shit that you say. And I'm like, that's just fact. Like there ain't no way around it. There are people out here who will fuck you up if you say the wrong thing to them. It's wrong and it's fucked up, but it's going to happen. My issue, and the reason that I addressed it, is because I'm like, there are plenty of people who we've seen who are liberals and have been on the other side of the fence who have gotten attacked or physically assaulted for saying some shit they probably shouldn't have. And I don't think Jeff would be on that. That's what they get trained. I don't think he'd be singing that tune.
Well, sorry, you and I talked about this after we got off the air yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I doubt anybody who takes that same thing, even me. I've said that before. Look, there's times, man, if you go in there, you're going to get your ass kicked. That doesn't make it right, but it's going to happen. No one would say that about Heather Heyer.
Yep.
No one would say, she shouldn't have been there. She should have expected that. So I don't necessarily disagree, or that it can happen, but that doesn't make it right. And it doesn't, it's not a good excuse for why it happens.
Yeah. And I also want to highlight the difference between condemning something, but understanding why it took place, and apologetics for that thing because it took place in a situation that you find to be favorable. Those are two separate things. Because regardless of whatever the situation is, if somebody said something to you and they have not invaded your personal space or attacked you in any way, I will always condemn you attacking a person for what it don't matter what they said. Now, like I said, depending on what they said, if you hit them, I'll be like, oh, I see why you got hit, but I still condemn it. There's a difference between that and apologetics, saying, well, look at the stuff that they do, or maybe you should consider why this happened to them, or saying some shit like, well, other people who identify as them have done much worse. It's like, no, that now you're just making excuses for it, and you're saying it is okay now. You're not saying, you're not condemning it. You're saying, oh, well, it's fine in this case. That's different. But
well, it's similar to just about any situation or scenario you can think of where someone willingly puts themselves in a situation where the likelihood of something bad happening is increased than if they were just staying home watching TV. If you knowingly put yourself into a dangerous situation or a situation where the risk is higher, if someone makes a choice to do something untoward to you in that situation, their doing so isn't your fault. However, you took the chance of putting yourself in the circumstances that would lead to a higher likelihood of that kind of thing happening. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you're not to blame for someone making a choice to do you harm. On the same token, maybe next time don't put yourself in a situation where the likelihood of your harm is increased. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. It goes back to the whole victim blaming. I'm not blaming Heather Heyer for getting hit by a car.
Yeah.
But would she be dead if she didn't go there to instigate some shit? Nope. That's just fact. So that's when we talk about this stuff, it's more of a cautionary tale than a victim blame. It's like, guys, look, this stuff can happen. Maybe you should think about what you do in advance. Just throwing it out there. Mm-hmm. You're still a grown-ass adult who can make their own decisions, but just throwing it out there.
Yeah. And if somebody would maintain that position, regardless of the situation, then it's fine. But when it changes based on the situation, where you go from, well, maybe that person shouldn't have put themselves in that situation, to that's what the fuck that person gets, I'm glad it happened.
Right.
And I'm like,
that's the
okay.
line. That's the line.
Okay. So yeah, but that's my fucketry today.
Scribbles?
I don't really have any. I was not really paying attention to Twitter much. I think the only thing that crossed my path was the Lauren Southern thing, and that's just another one of those censorship issues. I haven't even watched the whole documentary. I wasn't even that interested to see the documentary, and honestly, the only reason I started watching it is because it was censored. So, Streisand effect in effect.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right. My fucketry. What do I have today? Let's scroll back here. I'm a little bit mad at Scribe.
Why?
Well, because one of the reasons I had trouble getting to sleep today was because I started playing some Grim Dawn again.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, they're still doing updates to this game. I logged in the other day and played a game. I logged in yesterday, and they had updated a lot of the character models of the enemies. They changed a whole bunch of the visuals and special effects, some of the spells and things. So they're still keeping this. This is like an old school Blizzard game at this point, where they keep releasing updates. New expansions are still going to come out. I love it.
And it's still on sale as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It's still on sale, guys. I think it's like $7. So go pick it up. It's fun.
Yeah, and if anybody out there works for this company or knows somebody there, please ask them if they're going to license this out to a tabletop game company, because there's so much good lore here and good setting stuff for a game like that. It'd be great.
Yeah, every time, so I'll just do just a little bit more, and then I'll look at the clock, just a little bit more, and yeah, fuck, I need to go to bed. But not entirely your fault, because I went and laid in bed for 2 hours before I fell asleep. So I can't blame it entirely on you, but I blame you a little bit.
Okay.
I blame you a little bit.
All right, that's fine.
Damn, I don't see any other actual fucketry I got into today. Although I do want to, is this the video? I want to share a video with y'all. If you haven't seen it, go to Twitter and watch it. This may be the funniest thing I've seen all year. It's the Scared Shitless Fitness program.
Oh, it's so me rolling. That's funny.
It was great, man. It was fucking great. That gives us 10 minutes for a deep topic.
Well, I got a deep topic for you. So
What you got?
It's Video Game Addiction Day. So I'm going to tell you about a Grim Dawn build I came up with, which probably isn't unique to people who've been playing this game and like do all the message boards and stuff. But I came up with it and I had a lot of fun with it. So the cool thing about Grim Dawn is even though the different classes have different trees of powers, you don't need to try to upgrade all the different trees of all the different classes or something, because you'd only have a limited number of points. So what you do is you look at what each of these classes have in common that you can sort of specialize in. Like if you've got two different classes that have powers that focus in on fire damage, well, then you can do some synergy bonuses by, focusing on those little talent trees that focus on those specific things, and then also get upgrades from your constellations and stuff like that. And for those of you that don't know Grim Dawn, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but that's why you need to go buy the game while it's on sale. So I decided to do a theme character because there's a couple of powers in the game that have to do with disease. If you do on the occultist one, there's a power called, I think it's called blood pox. And what it is if you cast it onto a enemy and it starts doing progressive damage on them, but it also spreads to any enemy that's right next to them, and it becomes this chain reaction thing. And so I focused on a cultist and a shaman, because the shaman has this power called Devouring Swarm, where you throw a bunch of like locusts at people, and then it turns into this kind of, disease that sort of corrupts them and starts taking damage. So I made a character I just called the Cancer. And I just made him all disease. All his powers had to be about disease or spreading progressive damage powers and things. And while he is weak, I mean, if he gets too much damage on him, he's dead. But all I have to do is hit one guy in a group and then run around a corner, and they all rot to death.
Nice.
And it's fucking hilarious. And really, that's all I had to do with some of the bigger bosses. I just had to cast that thing on them, stay out of their way, and let my powers do all the damage while I just sort of dodged. And it was really fun. And that's one way you can play that game. You can also be a sword guy with a shield. Yeah, there's even a class now, if you get the latest expansion pack. It's called the Oath Keeper, and one of the powers is as long as you're armed with a shield, you can have this power that basically throws your shield. You can make Captain America in this game now, effectively, after a fashion. And you can be a gunslinger. You can. It's great, and the themes of the game are awesome. And I'm addicted to this game. I have a problem. My name's Scribe Light. I have a problem.
He's addicted, y'all. If you like the Diablo series, if you've played any of the offshoots of those, this is the best Diablo-esque game I've ever played. It is so fun. I just saw this. David Hogg, this week, excited to be at this year's Emerge conference. Do you know what an Emerge conference is?
I've heard of that before, but remind me.
It is the intersection of SJW and music.
Oh,
social justice and music. And these are their primary showcases this year. Protest. The most compelling protests today are fueled by young citizens who transform their passions into grassroots action at a scale impacting the establishment.
Oh, the establishment.
Self Pillar will give attendees the wisdom and to weather tragedy, the courage to make bold decisions, and the inspiration to accept yourselves and others. Brave. Every day we see civility break down, unprecedented violence. Did you see the protest part back there?
Is this being live streamed at some point? God,
I hope so. And finally, sex. Everybody loves sex when it is healthy, consensual, and affirming. What about the asexual? Excuse me. That is not. What's the word I'm looking for?
Hey, Alyssa Milano doesn't love sex.
Yeah.
Wait. What were the conditions to loving sex again?
Sex is everybody loves sex when it is healthy, consensual, and affirming. I like the affirming part.
Affirming?
I know several women who don't like either one of those things.
Right. Now, is affirming Do they mean like, yeah, bitch, take it? Is that affirming? Because that's yes is an affirmation. Yeah is an affirmation.
Consent. That's what it means. Affirming is consent.
Yeah, man, you gotta agree to that shit. Even if she pays you to follow her down the alley, snatch her up, and perform a list of tasks that she pays you for.
Well,
consent.
definitely that. You don't
Yeah.
you don't want to be caught without a contract for something like that.
Oh, God. Let me read the rest of this. It says, okay, so we have sex is healthy, consensual, and affirming. In other cases, it can be the backdrop for some of the most challenging moments in our lives. Tackling this fundamental juxtaposition, sex will explore sex positivity, LGBTQ's cultural influence and gender identity, concluding with a tone that is proud, sassy, unapologetic, and absolutely fabulous.
Where does this conference take place?
Vegas.
Okay, far enough away from me. Okay.
Absolutely. So they're going to turn everyone gay.
I hope this is live streamed. I want to have some clips to look at for this sucker.
This is just, oh my God. The most challenging moments of our lives. Yeah, when that condom broke, I was like, God damn.
Getting the bra off one-handed. That's a challenging moment.
Jesus Christ. These people haven't had sex right in their lives. Anyhow, yeah, I just saw that. I'm like, okay. Yeah, him and Emma Gonzalez will be there.
Oh, I haven't heard her name in a long time.
Yeah, they're going to be there bullying slightly weird kids. So if you want to get bullied by them, go check them out. Who else is going to be there? It's great. Most of the people in their pictures, they're like smiling or something, or at least, just a muted face, no smile, no frown. David Hogg has his "I'm pissed at the world" picture up.
Does he have any other kind of picture?
Probably not.
Has he patented that face yet?
I'm sure he's patented the picture, even though he didn't take it himself.
Yeah. What do you think he's going to end up when he becomes an adult, like a grown-up adult? What kind of job do you think he's going to be in? Do you think he's going to go into politics?
Oh, he's going to try.
Yeah.
Certainly.
You're going to be doing a TEDx video on him.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't done one already, or maybe he has. I don't know. I don't pay attention to him that much.
He'll go into some because he'll be too young coming out of college to go into actual politics. So he'll go work for somebody.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And
be a staffer for someone.
Yep. And then suddenly around his 25th birthday, as close as he can, he'll run for the House somewhere and lose because he's an idiot.
Yeah, and then some scandal will break out about him doing something horrible to some chick who he met back then. The cycle will repeat itself.
Oh God, can you imagine a #MeToo case coming out about this kid at Harvard?
Oh man, I can't imagine it. I don't wish it upon him.
Oh, neither do I.
I mean, unless he's done something awful, obviously, but
Well, depending on his path, he's going to put himself smack dab in the position for that exact thing to happen.
Yeah.
So, good luck to him.
With that, guys, we're going to move on to the question and answer period. That's chat time is what we call it around here. And it's your time. Throw your questions, comments, concerns, critiques, cooking recipes, costumes, all of that shit into the chat right now. And we'll do our best to address them. Assassin of the Gray says he will become a subversive rabble rouser, community organizer to build street cred. I don't think he's got that in him. I don't think he wants to be in a nice, cushy little environment. He doesn't have the. You're never going to see him in Watts. You're not going to see him in nowhere that he would actually be needed for that kind of stuff. What do you guys talk about when you go offline? Well, actually, we talk more before we go online than when we go off, because usually Scribe has to go to bed right away.
Yeah.
And then me and Satsu end up overplaying the game. So, and then after that, I immediately go to my other stream. So we don't talk after the shows very often.
Yeah, we typically talk more before the show than after. To be honest.
So what do we talk about? Just like whatever's going on, just stuff or something, or maybe like what the title of the stream is, or how our day was, or I'll ask Monkey how the babies are, or whatever.
Yeah,
Nothing.
you know, and unless there was some major story that we all saw and are all got stuff about, and even most of them, if we see that kind of article, we'll stop ourselves like, wait, we need to save this for the show. So.
Actually, no, we talk about our audience mostly.
Yeah, we talk about how great you guys are.
Yeah, we do. And to be completely honest, that's almost exactly what we were talking about before the stream started tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Gray says he won't have that. Dave Hogg won't have a Me Too moment Me Too moment with a woman. That is. Yeah, we'll see. Are you guys down with the sickness? What sickness?
The song Down with the Sickness.
Did he just ask, do we have AIDS?
Sounds like it. I ain't got the hurt, man. What's
every generation's got its own disease.
What's the song Down with the Sickness?
Seriously?
Yeah.
I thought you were joking.
No. What is it?
It's a song.
The only time I've ever heard that song is on Dawn of the Dead. Well, not the only time I've ever heard it. The first place I heard it.
It's like one of Disturbed's most famous songs. It was at the end of Dawn of the Dead.
Sickness.
If you heard it, you know it. But
yeah, I'm over listening to it. I've never heard that before.
Okay, that's amazing. But all right.
Scribe, what do you think about doing a playthrough of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline with snarky commentary?
Well, first off, I'm not set up for streaming gaming. I don't have like a capture card. I don't even know how to do that stuff. I'm sure it's not that difficult these days, but I wouldn't know the first thing about doing it. And as far as doing that, I don't know that I'd have anything snarky to say. I mean, if you haven't played the game before, you wouldn't be hearing anything. I'd be talking a bunch of nerdy shit. Maybe somebody'd like that. I don't know. But I mean, yeah, go
ahead. I know saying this is futile, but if you ever want to know, I can teach you how. But I would be very, very interested in watching you play Grim Dawn.
Oh, Grim Dawn?
Yeah, I would watch the fuck out of that series.
Well, I'd start a new character and say, okay, I'm going to start with a theme. I'm going to start with a story and then like build it that way.
And that's why I would be very interested in watching.
Yeah, I don't know. So short answer is I don't know. I'll talk to Satsu if there's a way I can do a gaming stream. Don't you have to have a special channel on YouTube to do that though?
Nope. No. Well, I mean, you can make one, but
yeah.
Diesel Dave,
simple. Just create a Gmail.
Diesel Dave, thank you. The better version is done by an older guy on piano.
Oh, Down with the Sickness? Okay.
Yeah, still never heard either of them. Where was that? Have you guys watched Mystery Science Theater 3000 then and now? I've seen the older versions, not any of the new one.
Yep, I watched a lot of the Joel era. I watched a lot of the Mike era. I watched the first episode of the new Netflix season, and it was the most dull, unfunny, quiet. They didn't say anything. Like, minutes would pass without a single joke or even attempt at one. And I was like, this isn't Mystery Science Theater. And they played it so safe. It was so sanitized. I gave up after like half an hour. I was done.
Have you guys been in a fight?
Yes.
Many.
That was easy.
I like to fight. I don't do it anymore. I haven't really done it since I've become a dad. I've had one fight since then, and that was on principle.
I've been in a few. Most of them were in self-defense, except for one.
Yeah, other than fighting with my brothers and one fight in high school, all of mine were self-defense. Mom insisted that I never fight unless it was self-defense, because apparently I was bigger than the other kids, and it was too easy just beating them up to make them do what I wanted.
Yeah, that one that wasn't self-defense, I swore up and down that it was, just because, like, I gave the dude, like, fair warning. And I'm just like, please don't come into my area, because Like, I don't want to have to beat you up. And he thought I was joking. And I don't think he was going to do anything when he got in my face, because he was one of those people that just talk shit. But as soon as he got within arm's length, I just swung. And I was like, it was in self-defense. I didn't know what he was gonna do. It wasn't.
This is a comment on the new Batwoman trailer that Tommy C posted.
Yeah.
I just want to share it real quick. Sonic, I have the worst trailer of 2019. Batwoman, hold my strap on.
Oh, well, heck, look at that new Terminator one, for God's sakes.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
Oh shit. And where were we? Since Satsu is in Ohio and likes to make food, have you ever made Buckeyes?
No.
You know what they are? They're chocolate peanut butter balls.
No, I've never made those. I've had them.
Lords of the Night, did you see earlier today Undoom live streamed an interview with Sargon? I did not.
Nope.
I was asleep. Mata says, Lords of the Night, how are your baby batter injectors? Mine is doing well, thanks.
I like that there's a new name every time.
Me too. Keeping it entertaining. Sorry, my chat jumped, guys. I hate when it does that. YouTube fix show shit. You know, it doesn't jump when you get a super chat. It just does it like fucking randomly. It would make sense if it did it, you know, to bring attention to, hey, somebody just donated to your channel. No. They just do it. You've been in the same area for too long. Fuck off. Sorry, little Nuts says, oh, you love it. You know I love you, Nuts. Of course I do. I was going to thank you guys earlier, and I didn't want to say why because it seemed very, very narcissistic. But there's a whole bunch of people I know streaming right now, and many of them with much bigger audiences than us. But the only one that had more viewers was Razor Fist, and that's because of you guys. You guys are awesome. You'd rather watch us than all of those other guys. You're fucking amazing, and thank you for that.
Monkey, it's because they weren't alerted that those guys were on because of YouTube.
Just let it happen.
Sorry.
Hey, look, I was feeling good about myself. Why are you bringing me down?
It's my job.
Satsu?
No, I'm your memento mori. I got to be the guy that brings you back down to earth.
Ain't no such thing, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna fly right into the sun. Questions. I'm looking for. But remember, guys, if you do have questions, like 10 question marks, just so it catches my eye. Talking about nothing behind the scenes, guys. You're talking about when we don't talk to each other after. No, we still talk, but Lords of the Night, are you glad to see our favorite German is back? Are you talking about Badger Man? I love that Badger Man's around.
Guys, the other reason we don't necessarily talk about too much before the show is because then we'd have nothing to talk to each other about during the show. So, you know, I mean, we repeat ourselves from time to time, but sometimes it just makes sense to wait until somebody says, how was your day? Like, okay, here you go. Yeah.
And he said, Lords of the Night, if you had a suit of armor, what would it look like?
Oh.
It would look like Batman, but with a monkey head and no cape.
So the outfit my avatar wears, that's what I'd be wearing, but all of my armor would be tactically covert underneath it.
Ooh. Satsu?
What was the question?
If you had a suit of armor, what would it look like?
If I had a suit of armor, what would it look like? Shit, I don't know. Like 30 things flashed in my head. That's going to take some time. I have no idea.
Okay. You haven't missed anything opinionated. What? I have no idea what that's. When they talk to each other, I sometimes get confused. Hey, Scribe, when are you going to start a role-playing game channel?
I don't know. That is the most honest answer I can give you. I mean, like tabletop or something. I had tried experimenting with that idea with a couple of people, but interest wasn't really there for it, and they kind of wanted to keep it offline anyway. So I don't know. I've thought of a lot of things lately because of my waning inspiration doing commentary videos I've talked about before. So who knows? We'll see.
Lucifer says, which is a good thing your name is this because it makes my answer even funnier. You never listen to Disturbed? You are a weird man. No, I just have very discerning taste when it comes to my devil music.
Wah, wah.
Just loud and tattooed doesn't necessarily make me want to listen. And that's not insulting them, but just saying. It is something my son has probably listened to a lot. He's more into that kind of music. What are you guys' thoughts on the Q phenomenon? What's the Q phenomenon? That sounds familiar.
Is that a Star Trek reference?
Is it?
Phenomenon. Dun, 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 dun.
Phenomenon.
You guys are assholes. I don't know what that is. Yeah, you'll have to clue us in so we can answer you on that. Because Diesel Dave, thank you. Lords of the Night always wins, and Diesel Dave, thank you for supporting us, for showing up every night. You guys are amazing. I can recognize Scribe's ringtone. It should have its own Lord's name. We've heard it so much.
Oh, that's not a ringtone. That's just the thing saying I got a message. I have an old dumb phone. I don't have a smartphone, so it's like you pull out the keyboard deal. That was my sister messaging me, just checking on our plans for tomorrow.
Satsu, I'm thinking of trying some of your recipes on a campfire next month when I head to my yearly camping trip. Which ones would you recommend?
All of them?
I don't know. Like, I was trying to think about it. I saw him ask that earlier, but I mean,
the meatloaf.
Yeah, maybe. Like, cooking stuff on a campfire is a little bit different than I don't know. Make the collard greens or something. That'd be, because all you need is a pot and a fire at that point.
Well, there's some of that stuff. I mean,
that'd be good to eat out in the camping.
You can make it up before you take it out there and just cook it over the open flame.
Yeah. Oh, one of the best steaks I've ever had was on an open fire at a campsite. Oh my God. It was so good.
Monkey sounded like he has a deep, dark past of fighting that he's trying to outrun, but will have to fight one last time to protect his family.
I saw that movie several times now.
I used to love to fight. I really did. Probably too much. Probably to the point where I would instigate people into instigating a fight. If you can imagine that, just goad them into throwing that first punch. I dare you.
I forgot to mention this too. The Fam 2 Cents channel is up to 320 subscribers. So
cool.
I'm assuming that was due to Sinatra's shout out. So Sinatra, if you're in the chat, man, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he just got here. RJ was asked, Monkey, do you think YouTube is abusing their own policies to push social justice? I don't know if it's to push social justice. I mean, they obviously abuse their own policies. Yeah. We've talked about this since the beginning almost. I mean, YouTube's policies are so fucking vague. It's actually kind of hard to say they abuse them.
I think they make decisions to maintain the appearance of social consciousness. So like if Lauren Southern, for example, is connected with the alt-right, then, censoring her movie is a step in maintaining the same kind of idea they had with Alex Jones. If she's Alex Jones light, then they're not doing anything different than they're maintaining the narrative that they are not supporting conspiracy theorists and hate mongers, etc.
Yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. I don't know. I think it's very easy with social media to blame them for people getting banned and stuff. And it's usually we're talking about somebody high profile and somebody go, yeah, but this person over here does the same thing. It's like, okay, yeah, but that person has 4 followers and nobody's ever reported them. I definitely think they like with the whole Alex Jones thing. They went overboard and they did it because they don't like what he says. They don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the people that get pointed to is like, well, these people do it too. Like, yeah, have you ever reported them? I'm not telling you to report them. But most of what happened, most of the actions you see on social media come because of mass reporting. That's just what happens.
And the profile of the individual.
Sure.
You know? So somebody doing the exact same thing as Alex Jones, but like Monkey said, is like 50 subscribers, probably isn't going to get as much attention as Alex Jones. So.
Right. Excuse me. Do you think Trump is playing the left by not releasing his tax returns?
Yes and no. I mean, I think there's probably stuff in there he doesn't want revealed or confirmed about his financial dealings. At the same time, he understands the power of like baiting them into harping on him for this stuff. So a little bit of both.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Satsu.
Go ahead.
You first.
Well, yeah, I was about to say he could very well be trying to hide something. I mean, obviously, or like I said, if we were to assume that Trump was not an idiot and he was smart, then he could be like, they won't shut the fuck up about this. Like, I'm distracting them with this. So as long as I keep withholding it, even though I particularly don't have a reason, that'll keep them focused on this one dumbass thing while I, get other shit done. So I don't know. It could be one or the other.
I think he absolutely does not want to release his taxes. Most very, very wealthy men are like that. They don't want you to know what's going on in their individual income, how much they make exactly, that kind of stuff. But I do think it has become a bait point at this point, because this is Donald fucking Trump. You know his taxes have been looked at. You know they have. So the only thing they're actually going to get out of there is, this is how much money he made. This is how much he gave to charity. Oh, sorry. Damn, Mike. Lords of the Night, have you ever seen a shaved ferret? Is that a sexual innuendo?
If it's literal, no. If it's figurative, yes.
I'm not sure how to answer that. Satsu? Shaved ferret?
Waffles.
Waffles, there you go. Lords of the Night, have you seen the last Godzilla King of the Monsters trailer, and do you plan on seeing it? I haven't seen the last one. I saw the one that played when I went and saw Infinity War. That made me want to see it, and then I had to remind myself I don't give a fuck about Godzilla.
Yeah.
But
I've seen a couple of the Godzilla trailers, but I didn't see the last Godzilla movie, and it just looks like a big, noisy special effects CGI action movie. Like I've said before, I'd probably have more interest in it if they were doing a creative new way of using a guy in a rubber suit and miniatures, if they actually did a practical effects Godzilla movie. Otherwise, I look at it and I just think to myself, it's a cartoon, because that's literally what it is for the most part.
Surfing or skateboarding? Surfing, that gets me in the ocean.
Yeah, I've never really done either, but I'd probably do surfing before I do skateboarding, because I don't want to like. There's less of a chance in the kind of surfing I do that I'd end up breaking my bones and like ripping my skin off.
Probably skateboarding for me, because water and uncertainty. Oh. I mean, look, I see what be happening to you white folks in the ocean,
right?
And I ain't a part of that life. Fucking jellyfish and sharks, and
you don't hear no story about a black man getting his arm bitten off while he's surfing. Nope. You know why? Because they're smarter than us. Black people are smarter than white people. That is fact. If you want proof, how many black people are in Canada? Exactly. They're smarter than us.
We'll see. The black people do go. Like, they be out there surfing too. Just when shit goes wrong, they don't sit there and look and stare and see what's happening. They're already on shore. Like, damn, did you see that?
Yeah, look, I have known black surfers. I have, and I haven't got to surf extensively. My older brother was a big surfer. I've got to do it a little bit. I skateboarded far more, but I just like being in the ocean. But yeah, being in the ocean is dangerous.
Dangerous
Don't think
as
you're safe.
fuck, so no thanks.
Don't think you're safe out there. Plus, it gave me a chance to make a vaguely racist joke.
Wow.
I don't understand why.
Monkey looks for those opportunities, guys.
I do
just so you
sometimes.
know.
Not necessarily just against black people. I'll do it to white people and Asians and anybody.
Yeah, no. Don't try to make it
I'm
better.
vaguely racist against everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ever going to edit the Grand Monkey video? Eventually. Lords of the Night, what do your armor look like? We answered that. What would you do with a body in your trunk with your fingerprints all over it? No one would ever know. I would
hire an amazing lawyer.
Yeah.
I would bury it so far in the middle of nowhere that nobody would ever find it.
Drop that bitch in the volcano.
There you go. What? This is how she asked to go. Scribe Light, have a good childhood fuck up story.
A good childhood fuck up story? Jesus. Let me think. Let me think for a second for something that I'd want to be okay in sharing that didn't have like God. Okay. So this is stupid, but then it's a childhood fuck up thing. My dad got really mad at me. So I was in the car with my mother, I think it was, and we were heading home, and she stopped in the road to talk to a neighbor friend of ours, and I got bored, and I think I was like 6 or 7 or something, and so I started messing around with the lock on the door, little pull up lock on the door, and I started unscrewing it, and I unscrewed it all the way, and then something went plink into the door. Because I'd unscrewed it, and the screw that was holding it in place at that point fell into the door itself. Ooh. And somehow it just, by luck, happened to fall somewhere in the mechanism of the door where the door would not open anymore. And so my dad, understandably enough, was not pleased with me. Because he had to take it to the shop for them to open up they had to dismantle the entire door to find this tiny little screw that had fucked up the whole door. But I heard later that story went up the chain, because my dad worked in the auto industry. That story went up the chain, and they redesigned all the doors for that model car in the future because that was too much of an easy flaw that could have affected a whole bunch of stuff.
A kid broke this car. We need to find a way to fix that.
I think my dad bitched to the right people about it. Say, hey, the 6-year-old just made a damage to this car that cost like $10, something. It was like $900 or something, and what it would actually have cost if my dad didn't have a discount. And that was just from this tiny little screw falling in. That is a major design flaw. And I heard it went up the chain. I don't know if it's actually true. My dad might have been making something up, but that's what I heard. There's my childhood screw up story.
Did you guys see Tim Pool's video about how 5G could blind our ability to track hurricanes because they operate on a frequency our satellites use to detect water vapor?
No. That sounds like conspiracy theory Alex Jones shit to me.
I'd have to watch it to see the evidence, because right now I'm just like, I'm with you. That sounds like turn the fucking frogs gay. What do you even mean nowadays when you mention social justice? Or what do they even mean? Same thing they've always meant. They just never actually mean it. What they mean when they say it is that they want justice for everybody, equal treatment for everyone. What they actually practice is entirely different.
I just hear revenge and retribution nowadays. Like revenge.
Yes.
And, we want to trade places.
Yeah, the practice is to assume the weakness of others and assume the benefits of others divided by race and gender, etc. So those people with these attributes have inherent advantages and must be, reduced, vilified, oppressed in favor of the people that we assume are oppressed because of what they look like. It's like that story I read last night from Forbes, where J.P. Morgan is doing this big program to help Black or women of color because they can't manage for themselves, essentially. So we're going to give them a helping hand. And it's like, it's condescending. It's the soft bigotry of low expectation stuff, which, by the way, as a phrase, doesn't actually work by the definition of the words, but it's nice shorthand for what we mean.
Oh, sorry, Satsu.
No,
Yeah.
I was agreeing.
Oh, okay, because this next one is specifically for you. Did you watch the latest episode of Demon Slayer yet?
Ooh, I did not. That was actually on my agenda today, but I woke up at 3 and was like, "Oh fuck!" So I started doing all the other shit that I usually do throughout the day, because that's usually the stuff that I do in the morning. So I'm gonna check it out. My day was all lopsided today.
Adabisi says, do you think CBS is scared to release a full trailer for Star Trek Picard because they are scared of failing again? No, well, I think they're scared of failing, but no, I think they're trying to. Picard is like one of the most beloved captains ever. The fight is always Kirk or Picard. The others are always secondary.
No, I know the reason why they haven't released a full trailer, because they haven't filmed anything yet. If you guys watch the go to the channel Midnight's Edge and watch their little documentary series videos as they come out about the behind the scenes chaos regarding Picard. There's so much trepidation over whether or not this show is going to be successful because Star Trek Discovery did so poorly especially in merchandising and fan reaction and everything else, that they've gone all over the place, and they haven't even filmed anything yet of note because they're still arguing over what the uniforms will look like, what the design will look like. Will it be too close to Discovery that'll turn off the fans? Yeah, you got that teaser trailer because that's all they could come up with to try to get people hyped for this thing, which they haven't even finished filming yet.
It's a teaser trailer. It's what it's meant to do. It's meant to build hype.
Yeah, and they won't release an actual trailer until they finalize the story, which apparently they still haven't, and they finalize the look of the show, which apparently they still haven't.
Have any of you ever watched Kim Possible? If so, who was your favorite character? Yeah, I used to watch it with my kids. I don't know if I had a favorite character.
Never watched it.
I watched quite a bit of it. Everybody was fine. I think that was one of the few shows where I kind of liked everybody. Where I'm just like, everybody's cool in this show. There's not really any dislikable or like characters I don't particularly like.
What's the best joke about Candace Owens?
Candace Owens.
Her entire career.
I don't know if I know any jokes about Candace Owens.
Yeah.
Nuts reminds everybody to come watch us play 7 Days to Die right after this, probably around 11:15, 11:20, over on 2 Cents Plus, and the link is in the comments you left there. If you do end up with a body in your trunk with your fingerprints all over it, call Jack. He'll know what to do. Yeah, we'll call Jack Cochran.
Sure.
Actually, Polydub's the one you call. He gave us some scary insight onto how to do some criminal activity the other day, to where it's like, should I be seen with you?
Pro tip: if you're ever going to submerge a body, make sure to puncture the lungs first.
Okay.
Just saying. That's all.
Should I be seen with you?
You're not seen with me. I'm not actually here.
Okay. Is it gay for a guy to get a strap-on to the ass from a female? Is it? No, it's gay-esque.
Gay-esque.
It would be gay to be taking something from a dude. That's what gay means. Same sex. That's gay-esque.
Yeah, putting I don't know. I was about to elaborate on that, and then my instincts kicked in and was like, "Don't do that." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Yes, other me. I won't do that now.
It's not something I would do because we do not touch the monkey butt. Scribe Light, what model car did your parents own when you unscrewed the lock?
It was a company car from my dad used to work for a dealership way back when. It was a car he got from there. it was either some kind of Hyundai or Volkswagen. I honestly don't remember. I just remember that was it. That's how detailed my memory is of it. I think the more visceral memory is how angry my father was than the actual model of the car.
Mata asks, Lords of the Night, what's the weirdest sexual kink you've heard of?
Oh.
For me, look, with all of the weird stuff out there, and I know there's ones that people go, I know this is weirder, and everybody will agree. For me, the weirdest thing I've heard of is balloons. People who get turned on by balloons. That's fucking weird.
No, shit eating.
Not balloons.
That is the weirdest I know. Balloons is harmless in my mind. Like
Harmless,
weird is like something that's just like beyond the pale of like so yeah, people that get turned on by poop. Just that never understood it.
Balloons.
I think it's like, and even though it's relatively normal, the weirdest thing for me, just on a personal level, is people who are turned on by pain.
Oh, like masochists?
Yeah, like actual physical pain. Like I don't, my brain can't calculate that at all.
Well, see, aside from the psychological thing, which could be anything, part of it is that pain releases endorphins from the body to try to counteract it.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a pleasure reward from the body for experiencing pain to a certain extent. I mean, but of course the idea of like, well, yeah, not in your instance because you're even an extreme case. But if you can modulate how much pain for how much pleasure is released by the brain as a consequence, then it can be stimulating. Let's say.
No, I'm still with him on it. All three of these things to me are weird, but to me, just balloons is the weirdest. And with that, guys, we are going to stop because it's top of the hour. Chat, thank you guys for your generosity. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us and watching every night. You guys are amazing. We will be back Monday. This is Saturday, right? Yeah, Monday over on Satsu 2 cents for Lords of the Night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you join us. Scribe, Satsu, thank you guys so much for joining. And everybody, your lives make us sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.